I'm Jenna Reese, and I'm here with Axel,
Yo,
Bubba,
Hi.
j-zoe,
What's good?
Lotus,
What's up?
and Lyric.
Hi.
Yeah, that sounds so sweet.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from y'all.
I'm not in
Like-
savage mode today. I'm in good mode today. So
funny. I like the when we recorded because it got my nipples hard. So
This nigga.
It's funny. I'm actually rubbing my nipples right now.
Oh my gosh.
bro, I'm
know,
rubbing his nipples too.
I'm gonna leave that shit in there just so y'all know.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I'm not gonna cut that out.
We got to keep that. We really do.
So wait, y'all don't just rub your nipples randomly?
why
I mean,
are you?
yeah,
rubbing
but
your
I have
nipples, bro?
titties. I feel like it's a little more appropriate.
I mean, yeah,
I mean,
but
that's
right now I'm
selfish.
not home. We're going to be doing that.
That's sexist.
I mean, I feel you. That's bad home training if you in somebody else's house rubbing your nipples, unless you're trying to keep it on.
Right? Just out here in my living room and closets and shit, rubbing
I
my
can't
nipples.
rub my nipples
Whoa,
in the
I ain't
closet.
doing shit like that. Don't look at me.
Jason got his dick out, so
Fuck you, nigga.
All right. Since we all having a party here, I got a question.
Okay, shoot.
What's that?
Is it gay for 6 niggas to sit in a hot tub together? But that's the capacity, you know. Supposedly there's room where they're comfortable. Is this gay?
yes.
I mean, if there's room and it's not like, if it's a big ass hot tub, then nah. But if it's small as fuck, hell yeah, that's gay.
Okay, I'm with j-zoe on that one. Like, if they got room to move, then we good. But if they don't, then in the immortal words of Riley Freeman, nigga, that's gay. Like,
Listen, I think there's there's levels to this shit. Like, how cold is it outside? Because nigga, if it's cold as fuck and there's like warmth in the hot tub, I'm gonna jump in that shit. I don't give a fuck how many people are in that bitch.
why are you in a hot tub while it's cold?
Well, that's the best time.
Isn't that the
Yeah,
point?
that's the best.
People are in a hot tub.
I mean,
What
Lyric,
you
I think that's
mean?
kind of the point.
No,
I think she
but
meant
I
when
mean,
it's hot.
typically, no, because typically hot tubs are next to pools. You don't go to the pool when it's cold. People
But
don't
you go to
switch
the hot
between
tub.
the pool
You've
and the
never
hot
seen
tub.
TV when people go to like those Alaskan resorts and shit like that, where they in hot springs though, but in the ice cold. It's just what you do. Like, I definitely
That
don't want to
is
get in a hot tub when
Alaskan.
it's 100-degree summer.
That is in Alaska and at I said restaurants. Lord Jesus, help us all. And at spas, at spas, and all of these other things. We are not talking about like.
Listen, if
Apartment
it
complexes.
is too cold outside, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna tell my nigga, hey, slide over real quick. Like, let me get my toes wet and everything, you know?
What?
See,
What the fuck?
see, look,
See, that sounded gay.
the progressive
This whole
side of me,
scenario-
Yeah,
Yes,
Bubba,
yeah.
that was kind of gay, bro.
but the progressive side of me is like, it has to be possible for 6 niggas to be in a hot tub and not be gay, right? There has to
It
be
is.
No,
a possibility.
Listen, as long as you are not fucking all the niggas in the hot tub,
Yes.
it's not gay.
What
Like,
it is-
Fucking one of the niggas in the hot tub.
well, well,
then you trying to get an
specifically.
orgy started then.
It only takes one.
So if one nigga starts fucking another nigga in the hot tub, you gonna join in, Axel?
No, I'm saying if one nigga is fucking in the I'm not in a hot tub first and foremost, okay? Because there's a rule, there's a man law violation. If the thighs are touching, them guys is fucking, okay? And if
Jesus.
thighs is touching, they too close, bro. Now if it's just 1 and 2 people, all right, I guess you can just chill in the hot tub. But 6 niggas, nah. I'm not even going nowhere near that hot tub. I don't even know why I'm alone in the area with just niggas in a hot tub, like unless I'm inside fucking all the women.
Listen, actually, I feel like at one point in time we've touched thighs accidentally, like, but we've never done anything. I'm not gay. Just for everybody.
I've
who's
never
listening.
touched your thighs. I'm just putting that out.
According to some, your sexuality is a bit skewed.
Listen, I am very straight. I am just confident in my sexuality. That's all.
Okay, well, I don't think we're gonna figure out today whether or not it's completely gay. So I will say like it's halfway gay. But
Agreed.
one question I do have is about religion and just spirituality. And so, is it possible for you to be with someone who doesn't have the same spiritual beliefs or religious beliefs that you do?
That's a rough
Maybe.
one, honestly.
Yeah, maybe not the same. Like, I don't expect anybody's spiritual beliefs to be exactly as mine because that's a journey and something you take on your own life path together. I would say it'd be difficult to be with somebody who had completely contrasting views. Like, I probably couldn't be with an atheist, but at least if they believed in something, you couldn't just believe you magically got here. I think we could find some common ground and get there together.
There we go. I agree with that 100%. Like, I know me, and I couldn't be in a relationship with somebody who's just like, yeah, ain't no God. I got here by, Neanderthals. We mutated. Like, nah, bro. I'm sorry. No, not at all. Like, so we can find middle ground, and I haven't figured it all out. You obviously haven't figured it all out. We can figure something out together. But for you to just say that, like, ain't no God, but like, no, we can't. I can't do that one.
Hell, I mean, I've been in a fully Christian relationship, and that shit is still hard. So,
how so?
Like my first girlfriend, like we were both Christian. We grew up the church together. We met during church. So like it's still hard as a relationship altogether. But if someone that doesn't believe the same things I do, that's gonna be even rougher. Like I couldn't be down with that.
See, for me, it goes beyond like I need someone definitely who at least believes in God. But like I couldn't be with someone. I don't think I would work with someone who's like super Christian, super devout, church every Sunday. We would even clash there. So I need someone who not only believes in God, but who also kind of sees it the same way that I do.
I think I'm the exact opposite because I think I could actually date someone who wasn't the same belief as me as long as they didn't constantly feed it down my throat. Like if they're atheist, they're not constantly like, oh, there's no God, there's no God. Or if there's Christian, they're not like, oh yeah, let's go to church, let's do this. Oh, God this, God this. Because that could get a little overwhelming eventually.
But that's kind of the point of like belief in God, is that it impacts your life. So can you really be with someone who spirituality is that deep and not be impacted by it?
Right. Let's take it a step further. Can you plan a future and raise kids? Because that has to be a consideration. How do you raise your kids, whether you're atheist or you are the Christian in the situation? How do you raise your kids, or do you just not say anything and leave it all to your partner? What do you do?
I mean, in that aspect. Oh, go ahead, j-zoe.
That's where I agree with Lotus, because at some point when you're discussing things, when you're trying to raise a child, that kind of gets to a point. Like, how do you tell a kid no to drugs if one person is super religious and the other person doesn't really care that much? Like, there's going to be some clash there to begin with.
When you mean as far as like you being in a relationship with somebody who has a completely different religion from you, or are you talking about being in like a Christian relation, or for all intents and purposes, like two Christians in a relationship, one is a bit more devout than the other, and working off that? So like which aspect are you talking about there?
I mean, I feel like it kind of goes either way, because especially when raising a child, you kind of have to have a singular point where you could both be like, hey, this is wrong, this is right, this is where we're going to come to together when explaining this to our child. So if you already got two contrasting points either way, how does that really help in terms of raising a kid?
So in your household, each life decision comes back to religion, or your spirituality rather. Like, is that something, because is it possible to co-parent? Let's not say that you're in a relationship. Actually, let's say you knocked up somebody who had a contrasting religious view than you. How do you co-parent now? Does it always have to come back to your faith?
And I know there are some couples who they do have different beliefs, but they balance it out. Like, I think for people who have like two different beliefs, they might incorporate both somehow. But I still think that's really hard to do, especially if one person has no belief at all and is really against religion playing a role.
I sometimes think that that's more of a problem for the parent than the child, though, because I think the child is just sitting there just like, oh, I'm happy. I got my toys. I got my Power Rangers stuff, you know. I don't think they care that much. I think that's more of a problem for the parents. I don't know about y'all.
Okay, well, let me spin this for you. What if you really are into Power Rangers or Harry Potter? but your baby mama is a devout Christian who thinks that violence is terrible and that Harry Potter is witchcraft and deviltry. So you buy this toy and now it's a complete conflict.
I'm just saying, you're gonna have to get over that shit.
Hell yeah.
But it's not that easy though, because
That's pretty
I grew up in a house.
dismissive.
Yeah, I grew up in a house where for a while I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter just because of that. So that's a real thing. Like they're serious about that.
Yeah, like that's very dismissive, especially because you have to understand that, like, if as far as from the male standpoint, like if this is just like a baby mama situation and your child is living with their mother, like you're now bringing something that she doesn't approve of back into her household. And I like that's it's very dismissive to just be like, oh, well, I bought him this toy, you gonna have to get over it. Like that's something that you got to discuss with her, y'all. You can't just like disrespect her household like that. If it's a toy that's gonna stay at your house, by all means, go forth and prosper. But to bring something that she doesn't approve of into her household like that and just be like, oh, you got to deal with it is disrespectful. And like, I grew up in a Christian household, so originally, like, I couldn't watch Harry Potter either. And then, you know, my parents had a conversation with my brother, and like, it was a whole thing. Pretty much, let them know it's not really as bad as they think it is. And I am a lover of Harry Potter. Anything, seen all the movies, got paraphernalia all up and through my house. Like, I love me some Harry Potter. So like it's also a case where maybe if you want to explain to her and be like, hey, it's not all it's cracked up to be, y'all out here thinking it's witchcraft. Technically there are witches and wizards, but it's not like devil worshiping or anything like that. Because I know like a lot of old school Christians like have that mentality where it's like these are witches and wizards and they're praying around pots and doing like very devilish, devil worshiping esque things, and that's what they don't like about it. But Harry Potter doesn't really play into that, at least not it's for children. Like it's not a devil worshiping book, you know. Like, yeah. So if you're going to explain that to her, then that could be one approach you take. But to just be completely dismissive of her, like the way she runs her household is like disrespectful, complete disrespect.
And I mean, I'd try to educate niggas and shit. But at the end of the day, like if you can, you know, like push whatever kind of like values that you would like, whether it's Christian values, whether you're a Muslim or whatever, you know, whatever I'm interested in, I feel like I should have that right to, you know, impose that on my child as well, to just to expose them to stuff that I enjoy, you know?
I mean, that's cool, but you, like I said before, if it's going to be a toy that you keep at your house and y'all go watch Harry Potter together and, you know, read books and so on and so forth, then that's, by all means, that's cool. But you can't be like, oh, I'm going to give my kid this toy. He or she is going to take it home with them. And it's gonna be in your house, even though you don't like it, and you just gonna have to get over it.
Oh, I ain't say all that. Like,
but you did. You literally said that she would just have to get over it.
Yeah, he did say that.
My bad. Shit. Apparently, I wasn't listening.
Co-sign the fuck out of that. Don't say he did.
What I was gonna say is, see, I wouldn't have to worry about getting a situation like, because the moral of this whole story is be careful of who you have kids with. You know, like I'm not trying to be with someone who's going to be that into like that devout. Because honestly, I see it as a type of blindness. Like some people just get so into it where they can't separate fantasy from reality. Like they think they get too conspiracy. Like, oh, Harry Potter's trying to turn my kids into demon worshippers and all this stuff. It's just like, chill out. It's just a book. Like I'm hoping that my genes are strong enough so that my kids are able to separate reality from a novel, and they don't go and like, oh, Harry Potter, I could be a wizard now and worship Satan. Like, nah, like I don't know. I think you just got to be chill. But I do agree with what Lyric was saying in that if you are separated, like if it's just a baby mama and you're co-parenting, you should have like a conversation with the mother, like the baby mother. It's kind of like that situation that I read about with the black father, white mother, and they had a daughter. and the black father went ahead and like put like braids in the daughter's hair because she's a mixed child, and the white mother, she was very upset because he didn't consult with her. She was just like, why would you put that in my daughter's hair? Like da da da. Now she said it like really offensively, like kind of she said some racist shit, but there does need to be communication. It's a partnership. You know, you shouldn't just be doing shit without the other's consent.
I was about to say, because I know exactly what story you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's a different concept. She did, because she was asking to ignore an entire half of the child. Like, you know, because she was like, it was ugly. I'm just going to take it out when she gets home. And the root of the problem is not communication. The root of the problem is that she really wants to raise her child as a white child when she's a half black child.
The root of the problem is the fact that she shouldn't have got pregnant by a black dude if she don't like black people in their ways.
Agreed.
Yeah, he just shouldn't have put his dick inside of her, honestly.
Yeah, exactly what I said before. Be careful who you make
goes,
kids with.
hey, nice to meet you. You know, I'm racist as shit, but I want me some big black meat. I don't think it goes down like that.
I mean, whenever I run into a white woman, that's honestly the first thing I think of in terms of like if she's racist or not. That's literally the first thing that comes to my mind. But I know I think differently.
Yeah, that's
honestly,
sad.
no. When it comes to
that's a little weird, bro.
No, honestly, I'm not mad at him for that, because when it comes to people of like a different race, I'm cautious of the way that they perceive my culture and the way that I perceive theirs. Because especially, no offense to anybody, but especially if it's white folk, because, you know, racial tension, we got a lot of it right now. And like, I'm just real cautious of how other people see my culture. You know what I mean? So especially if it's somebody that you're potentially like dating or sleeping with or something of that nature, carrying any type of relationship with, of a different race other than yours, like I'm cautious of that, because the lines get blurred really quickly.
And yeah, speaking of racial tension, we are now in the era of Trump. So,
oh gosh,
can we please not call it an era? Let's call it an unfortunate timeline.
It's a hiccup.
A hiccup?
A hiccup.
A hiccup. A hiccup in history.
4 damn years. But yeah, what are y'all thoughts on Trump and everything that's been going on? Like literally, when this man was elected, there were already things that started happening to different racial groups that he had spoke out against. So
I just feel like, go ahead, Bubba.
My bad. Nah, go ahead, Larry.
I just want to point out that the economy fell as soon as my dude was announced president, and I just think that should worry everybody. Like that was turning point number one in the series of unfortunate events that are to occur within the rest of America. Like that was signal number one for me. That scared.
Well, you know, something to be said and something to be noted is that your world leaders are people of color. Like, I know it was such a big deal for America to have their first black president, but you know, in Trinidad, we've had a female prime minister. I've had a black president. Like, these things do exist. So it doesn't surprise me that your trade and your world affairs don't automatically change when you get, you know, the head of the neo-Nazi party almost, you know, as your forefront and your mouthpiece to the rest of the world, when it's people of color who are your world leaders.
It's not that it's surprising, it just scared me. Like, I don't know if if that occurs often when presidents are elected, because to my knowledge, it don't. So the fact that literally the day the man was announced to be, you know, president-elect or whatever, like the stock market dropped, like the world economy dropped. The US dollar started to depreciate by the second. And I was just like, whoa, is this what we have to look forward to? Eventually, you know, everything came back up, or mostly, because to my knowledge, like the US dollar in some countries is continuing to depreciate. But like, that was just warning number one for me. That was the first thing that stood out.
Yeah, and the same thing, I don't know if y'all like pay attention to like the whole Brexit thing in the UK, but like the same exact thing happened over there too. Like right after they decided to leave had that poll to leave the UK, like the the euro, or no, their dollar like depreciated, whatever their dollar is. I'm not that educated. Like, I don't know.
It's the euro. You're right. But I think that happens anytime you have anybody make a move to pull out of something that is a unified group in a sense, you know?
Yeah. But like
You
people
distinguish yourself to be different.
And like I just know that people were really comparing like the whole Brexit situation to the Trump situation in the US too. And I don't know, there's just so much crazy shit happening with Trump. Like there's so much, like I don't even know how the fuck he got elected, but there's so much you could say about him that it's kind of exhausting even bringing him up. Like recently I've just been calling this nigga the 45th. Like
I don't call him nothing because as far as I'm concerned, my president is still black.
But you know what was interesting to see? I don't know if y'all have seen any of those stories about where they've actually found tweets from people who were all like pro-Trump, pro this, that.
Yeah.
And now these motherfuckers want to know why their health care all of a sudden has gone up. Like why they're like, oh no, Trump, I just wanted you to build the wall. I didn't want you to take away my free health care.
No,
they're literally like tail between their legs tweeting about that shit. I'm like, you dumbass. Why would you say it?
I don't understand why anyone would vote against their own self-interest. You have women out here using Planned Parenthood. Well, after he was elected and started putting all these things into place, calling Planned Parenthood, talking about, oh, I'm a Trump supporter. I voted for Trump, but I used Planned Parenthood. Am I going to lose my Planned Parenthood? You have folks out here talking about, I voted for Trump, but I didn't think that. No, I voted for Trump and I have Obamacare or the
ACHC where they
ACH, my bad.
Right, the Affordable Health Care Act was different. I saw a woman tweet about that when not tweet, but basically they were having a Facebook war. Somebody made a comment about something and she was like, oh, well, I don't have Obamacare. I have the Affordable Health Care Act.
Which are the
same thing.
That means you aren't educated. You got problems. But like people have the Affordable Care.
Who is educated who would vote for Trump? Would you really vote for Trump if you were really, truly educated?
No, but you want to know what's funny? Because although the majority of, as far as Florida is concerned, the majority of cities where college students were blue, that's cool. But you still had a lot of folks in those areas that were voting for Trump. Like walking around campuses, you got people with Trump pink shirts on. And I don't understand how you can be an educated person in America right now and feel like that was a good decision for you. Like people voting, they literally voted against their own self-interest. You have the Affordable Care, you have coverage under the Affordable Care Act. You use Planned Parenthood. And now that he said that he starts to do or attempt to enact all of these things that he said he was going to do on the campaign trail. You over here talking about, oh, I thought he would change his mind. Oh, I thought he would see how good it was and not do it. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them, nigga. It don't make no sense to me.
But
I
that's the
didn't
thing.
think that he was going to do these things.
But that's the thing.
Go ahead, Jenna.
That's the power of hate. Like literally, for these people, like these white women, being white was more important than protecting their womanhood. So they said, I'm gonna screw myself over in terms of Planned Parenthood and all that, because the way they wanted, the way that he was speaking about these other groups appealed to them. The hate of those groups was more powerful than protecting their other interests. And I feel like that's what happened with Trump. A lot of people are like, yeah, he's gonna get rid of the Muslims, he's gonna deal with the Mexicans, he's gonna da-da-da. And they just fucking forgot about everything else. Logic went out the window. Hate has no logic. And now they're realizing, oh shit, I'm part of some of these groups he hates, and now they're getting screwed over.
But how did you not know that you were a part of those groups? That doesn't make sense.
It's kind of like that that family that had one of their children deported. Like it was like I think some Muslim family, and like they had voted for Trump, but their son, they couldn't get back into the U.S. They had like been deported, but they were still Trump supporters. I'm just like, he literally said that he was going to ban y'all niggas. Like, I don't understand that.
You know, but beyond the hate, because I think there's a couple of things. People are misinformed first and foremost, and I think that's what it comes down to everything. So let's just say that Middle Eastern people are not your broke underclass minority who is on the poverty line. They typically do come from some money, and but they are being persecuted because of our fear of terrorism and things like that. So I think that there's automatically this idea, and it comes from your upper middle class that believes that the Republican way is the right way. And in theory, it could work, but we don't live in a perfect world. But the biggest thing about me saying that they're uneducated that I want to note about the Planned Parenthood thing is Planned Parenthood doesn't actually fund abortions. What they're taking away is women's preventative health measures. We're taking away your annual screenings and stuff, the stuff that prevents against breast cancer and ovarian cancer. And that's the part that really is just sad about people making these votes. Just like the woman who didn't know that the Affordable Health Care Act is Obamacare. Obamacare is just the name the Republicans gave it, you know, to just really throw shame on it. But they're not educated, and that's how they're screwing themselves over by knowing absolutely nothing. That's how you have this man who literally just came in there and just started signing shit overnight.
Honestly, part of the problem, I feel, as far as specifically talking about Planned Parenthood, you know that. Well, Lotus, you know all of these things about Planned Parenthood, what they do, what they don't do. I know these things. Both of us have vaginas. You got a bunch of folks signing paperwork on people who have vaginas, or making decisions for people who have vaginas and they don't have one. And I'm not saying that men don't have any let me dance around these words cautiously, that men don't have enough knowledge in order to help make good decisions for women, and vice versa. However, if you're not educated, then you making decisions for my vagina ain't gonna do nothing, because you have a penis and you don't know what it's like to have a vagina. You're not a woman.
Speaking of that,
favorite sign of from the protests, there was a woman who had a sign that said, "If my body housed the blacks, the queers, the gays, and the Muslims, would you want to protect their lives then?"
That's real.
Deep.
speaking of that, that's one thing that confuses me about this whole damn thing. How did half of his cabinet get into their positions? Like fucking Betsy DeVoe. Fuck that
he
bitch.
placed them there purposely.
Aren't there yet? And she, if I'm not mistaken, just got two rejections from the panel.
Yeah, like she initially won, and they initially put her in like 12 to 11 or some bullshit like that. But then like a couple of rejections came through. So I don't even understand how this is even a concept.
As far as I know, everybody hasn't been officially put into their places. However, I'm a firm belief that he did that shit on purpose. Like, that was the people, the types of people that he put in the positions in which he put them. That was not by mistake, bro. You don't have multi-million-dollar owners of multi-million-dollar corporations just put in these random positions in which they have an advantage to help their companies. Although I don't understand how conflict of interest is not a thing here, and how half of his cabinet is getting away with the crap that they're getting away with. I just know it wasn't by mistake. That was by design. They did that on purpose.
Oh no, definitely. Like, we all understand that. What I'm saying is, like, how is it that people, like, for example, like, you got to get a degree and go through years of training and shit to be a doctor, but a bitch that's never gone through a single actual thing in the educational field, how is she even a choice? Like, that should be an instant veto. Like, there shouldn't even be a discussion here. Like, that's what scares me about this, that we actually have to have a discussion about this. Where is your damn training? Why do I got to go through 4 years of this, get a piece of paper that's going to put me in debt, and then to get a job that I want in the future, but you can just go through and just be rich as fuck and white?
And our president was a fucking reality show host.
Like, for real.
Exactly.
And this is the person that you have making decisions for the entire country.
Like, and people have been trying to use the bullshit about Arnold Schwarzenegger running for governor. He went through actual politics before that. Like, he was a politician before he became governor. But it's not like he just hopped out of a movie.
I would also like to point out, that's just governor of a state. We not talking the president of all 50 of them. the governor not making decisions to, drop bombs overseas. The governor don't have the nuclear codes. The governor doesn't have any clout as far as major worldwide decisions go. You know what I mean? You are literally just the governor of a state. And I'm not saying that local politicians aren't good enough or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, we're not talking about worldwide impact. We're talking about the governor of one state out of 50. So that whole Arnold Schwarzenegger bull that people have been throwing around, that doesn't sit well with me, because that's bull. Like, that's complete BS.
I mean, you know what? We're entering a time where we never anticipated happening, and it feels different. But the truth is, those laws, they do make sense and they were commonplace. You got to think about it. Your politicians, they were just average men. We didn't have institutionalized education and things like that. But what you are seeing now is people who've never done anything, who have the right to run. And I don't necessarily disagree with your right to be able to, because it should be a representation of your peers and your common folk who are able to run. That's the only way you're going to have change. You're just always going to have these people with their own personal agendas being pushed. It just sucks in this case where you really see how it does screw you over. I do believe, though, that maybe you should have some local office held before you go run a country.
I just like some kind of political experience somewhere. I'm not saying that this person has to be a born and bred politician coming from a family of mayors and senators, and like I'm not saying that. But for you to be like someone homegrown out of your own state, like you started at local government and then you worked your way up or something like that, I have no problem with that. Like, but you have no prior work experience. Like applying for jobs and stuff right now, people are asking me if they want 2 years job experience. Bro, I just got out of college. Like I don't have 2 years worth of job experience right now. I just graduated in December, folks. Like I don't have that. So you want that for an entry level position, but you're not requiring some kind of something for the president of the United freaking States, bro.
And like,
because,
I feel like,
honestly, what kills me, I'm sorry, go ahead, Pablo.
Oh, no, go ahead. You snap it right now.
I'm sorry. What kills me about this whole little era right here, and what pretty much white America has done in electing this person, because I don't even want to say the man's name, to the president of the United States, is that this is literally the definition of sexism and patriarchy. Because if Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton, a white woman and a black man, had done even a quarter of the shit that Donald Trump has gotten away with, cast, bro, they would be nowhere to be found on the political circuits anywhere. No, they wouldn't have any clout anymore. Like the people wouldn't trust their judgment. But yet, this white male can get up here and bullshit his way through an entire campaign, and everybody's just like, okay, let's do it, because he's not a politician. Let's put him in the presidential office and let him make a change for the little guy. Nigga, he ain't a little guy. He don't give a fuck about you. The only thing he cares about is him, his rich self, and his rich friends.
That nigga.
So you being white ain't got nothing to do with nothing, because the only people he is looking out for is the 1% that's already as rich as he is. You want to know why? Because all of them niggas want to get richer. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And even going off what you said, bro, like, I feel like there should be something to disqualify you from running for, at the very least, president of the United States. Like, something like active sexual assault cases open against you, or saying unconstitutional shit while you're campaigning, or like having racial discrimination cases against you for like not allowing black people in some of your properties. Like there should be something that disqualifies you for running for president of the United States. And like Lyric, you already said that like this nigga, he is unqualified, like unbelievably unqualified for his fucking job. Like that don't make no fucking sense. But I don't know. I don't know. This
I
whole
agree,
shit
man.
is crazy.
It's all fucked up, bro.
And it is. And I think the important thing to remember now is the time for action, and not necessarily, it doesn't have to be in a traditional way that a lot of activists do with protesting. Like, I think for some people that's really important and what needs to happen, but everyone has their own thing that they can do to make this era of Trump, era of the 45th president, not be a complete shit show and not let the damage that he's going to do be forever. So I think it's important to remember that we can do something to change it, even if it's just educating people, because now people are learning the hard way what's going on. And I think that after they see all the shit he's about to do, hopefully we won't have to worry about him next time we come around.
Yeah, go vote. People
Well
need to
said.
vote.
Yeah, sign petitions, do things on the local scale. Do what you can before it gets to that point.
Blow up their phones. Like,
Oh, speaking of calling politicians, can I do a cute little plug for a second? There's a YouTuber who I'm subscribed to. I think she's pretty cool. Her name is Julesy, and she did a video specifically talking about calling your senators, what you can tell them, like things that you can say to maybe sway their opinions, because technically politicians are not like the end all be all. Politicians are of the people. People elected them, and they're supposed to do as the people wish for them to do. So people feel like calling into like these politicians in their offices isn't going to do anything, but that is the complete opposite, because you are their constituents. They want to please you because they want to get back in your good, like they want to stay in your good graces, because they want you to continue to elect them and continue to support them throughout like the rest of their careers. So like she did a really dope video, more or less breaking down some of the candidates up for some of these positions in the cabinet and why they are unqualified to be there. And like, she has a bunch of resources like in the description box of who you should call and how you should go about these things. And like when you said that, j-zoe, that reminded me of her video. So I just wanted to like put that out there real quick, because that would be really helpful.
And no, that's important. And I think one last thing is to remember that it's okay to turn the TV off. It's okay to not watch the news and hear about the shit show that is Trump all day, every day, because I think it's important for our mental health to know that we can unplug and disconnect, and it's okay to do that for a little bit.
Preach.
But now we present to you our featured poet this week with our rewind.
Man, fuck Sandra Bland. Fuck her and all these whack-ass black rights capital rallying bitches. And before you start picking up your picket signs and grabbing doorknobs, just listen. Sandra Bland was a bigot. She perpetuated, condoned, and advocated for unethical, immoral intolerance of homosexuals. She used her social pedestal to spread her ignorance, and that is unacceptable. But don't get me wrong. If it is indeed the case that she died due to police misconduct, then that is truly a tragedy, and they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. The loss of human life needs to be mourned, but she had significant flaws that cannot be ignored. She was oppressive, she was ignorant, she was offensive, and it's sad that someone who alleged to have fought so fiercely for equality advocated for the discrimination of gays, especially being that they are a large number of her African American counterparts. Her beliefs are unfounded, her principles are questionable at best, so morally, ethically, and emotionally, she is not the kind of person that I want to associate myself with, even in her tragic death. So I am not comfortable with the hashtag justice for Sandra Bland when it appears that she would not do the same for me, her fellow gay black brother who needs her, because black gay males suffer a kind of pain and discrimination unknown to any other breed of human. So fuck Sandra Bland. We live in a world where you can be killed during a routine traffic stop. We live in a world where children are starving, abandoned, and generational criminals. They complain that gay people can't reproduce. Well, thank God, call us your fucking savior. We live in a world where the educated cannot find work. The minimum wage is a punchline. Bigotry and racism flourish. A world in which citizens and law enforcement have waged war against one another in the streets. Homelessness is at a staggering peak, and it's sad. It's sad the way we say all lives matter, not just the black ones. No, shit. I mean, it's sad the way that we still fight for black rights, not just the gay ones, even when the black straight community turns their back on us. There is no uproar when we are denied basic human rights like marriage. Even after the Supreme Court's ruling, when we are denied marriage, when we are denied the right to adopt children, to donate blood and save lives, to have spousal visitations in hospitals, denied the right to be served in American businesses, denied equal employment, equal educational opportunities, and equal living arrangements. Where is your anger then? Where's the uproar then? There is none. Because the heterosexual black community never stands with us, even though we are a part of them. And it's women just like her who are to blame for this. So when I say fuck Sandra Bland, I mean that shit, because I am infuriated with her and the vast majority of the heterosexual black men and women that are inclined to agree with her. Because if anybody should be able to understand discrimination, it should be you niggas. Tell me again how gay isn't the new black. Call me self-hating when I say I don't want to associate myself with the black community in any capacity. Be angry at me the next time I don't retweet the current black trash tag. You niggas scare me. I'm concerned about how far your delusion goes. You see the world as it is, but not as you think it should be. Even Satan was beautiful until the moment he was kicked out of heaven.
And that was Juris. This piece was entitled Fuck Sandra Bland. Thank you for listening this week. Now we leave you with these few thoughts from the poets in your head.
Not gonna lie, the first thing I thought of when I heard poets in your head was poets give good head.
It's a sad day to be a human.
Remember, your worth is your power.
Body counts don't matter.
Closing thought, that ain't my president.